Welcome back, Pokemon Trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat, of course, is on back order, and I'm sitting here with...
Johnny, two-time League Cup champion and two-time top 4 competitor.
Yes, he's one of the regular players here at the Heroes Beacon Pokemon League. That's where we're currently sitting at to do this interview. I wanted to sit down with Johnny here because there's a special event coming up next weekend, and you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So this Friday coming up, we're going to have on May 12th through the 15th, the Pokemon Regionals event is going to happen at International Plaza Hotel in Toronto, Ontario. I will be leaving my house, unfortunately, at 3 o'clock in the morning from St. John. Taking the airplane, it's going to take 3 hours to get there. So pretty much Friday is going to be a whole day to do whatever I want, kind of thing, with another person. And he's also a very talented player, too.
Yeah, so you're heading up there for the regionals here in Canada, and just see how well you can do with your deck there because, okay, we've battled a few times on occasion. I've used the Mega Beedrill deck. I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, the power behind it. I lasted a clean 3 turns against you, I think it was. I mean, you've got a pretty powerful deck. What do you? I don't want you to tell me too much about it. You want to keep it under wraps, right? But let's just say, yeah, it's a very. I'd be surprised if you can't make it very far in this regionals championship.
Well, the game plan is that simply put, I constructed the 60-card deck that's fast, consistent, to the point, winner, loser, draw. I take a lot away from the actual regionals tournament. My main focus is to come in the tournament and hopefully place top 8. I am sure I'm going to be facing some of the top elite players coming from all parts. And I'm not talking about just Canada. I'm talking about United States, US of A. And probably be surprised if anyone overseas shows up. For example, like, I don't know, Puerto Rico maybe, Japan, Asia maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of Japanese players, like when I see the World Championships, like, I've seen it usually comes down to a lot of US and Japanese players, but there was the occasional Canadian in there, I think, last year as well, which is pretty cool to see.
That's pretty neat, and the one thing I wanted to point out real quick, because I went to the actual, the official website is TorontoPokemonRegionals.com, which is the actual official website that they're going to host this event. There is a spreadsheet, and it shows how many people have registered but not checked in yet. And the total number, the last time that I looked at, is 287 master players. That's a lot of players. Now, on the downside to seniors and juniors, we have about 65 seniors and 45 juniors. Not many there. I mean, there's still a handful of players, but Masters has taken a huge toll on the landscape of cards. We are now seeing officially more people who are adults than there are kids. I have met players who are, the oldest I played against, I think it was 49, but there was one 44-year-old player, and hopefully if Chaz asks that question about my top favorite moments, I will gladly explain that. It was one of the most unusual days that I played, but it was actually very surprising.
So yeah, we'll save that actual story for a little bit because I do have some questions lined up here, just get some feedback and some backstory on Johnny here. I guess first question I'm going to say is, what first got you into the world of Pokemon?
What first got me into the world of Pokemon is when I was 12, 13, back in 2000, 2001, Toys R Us in St. John had official Kanto Pokemon League. It was based on a points booklet that you had to not only win or lose each match, you accumulate so much points until you reach the end of the paper, which gives you, which was at the time, a pinup badge. And they had 8 badges in total. We had the Boulder badge, we had the
Cascade badge.
Cascade badge. We had the
Thunder badge.
Yeah, the Thunder badge, the Rainbow badge, the Volcano badge. We had the Earth badge. Just some of the badges, the Soul badge. I mean, these are some of the old school badges. And
March badge.
And the March badge, of course.
So, was it the TCG or video game that you were first really into the games with?
Kind of like foggy on that kind of topic, because simply put, I was into both of them. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and a little bit later we have Pokemon Yellow. I remember when I was a kid, I was, again, 12 years old, not only looking into card games and watching the television show of Pokemon, but I remember having my first Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue at the same day. I bought both of them, same day, because of my allowance. It was like $5 a week or something going on.
So since you're more focused on TCG, currently, what would you say your greatest achievement is in the world of TCG here for Pokemon?
I will have to divide it by 2 things. One,
we only got time? No, just kidding.
Yeah, we only got time. Stay tuned. No, the 2 thing, I'll have to give it 2. One, as of now, obtaining both of these playmats and waiting since January to get them. Finally, Pokemon International came in and say, here you go, here's your playmats, thank you very much. And I was very happy. At least they showed up in my mailbox, right?
You want to hold one up for the camera so they can get a nice close look at it there? You're seeing an angled shot when it's on the tail, but there's the Blastoise or Mega Blastoise League Cup Championship playmat. You got 2 of those.
2 of them, exactly. And they're both winter.
Did you say there was like a second thing too regarding your greatest achievements?
Yes. The other one would have to be going to regionals and competing for the first time, and actually the first group to ever step foot in playing for the country. That's huge.
I know if I had the money to do it, I would like to go up and join you guys, not maybe as a player, but just to like check it out and sort of do a recap of it. I can't afford it, unfortunately, but I'm glad some people here can. And, you know, if you can, you know, bring some prizes back for me, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure I'll bring back some trinkets from Toronto.
Or at least just like a postcard.
But again, the first group from St. John to come into Pokemon Regionals in Toronto. I'm very humble. I'm looking forward to playing some of the great players, well-skilled players from not just Canada, but U.S. and maybe overseas.
Now, are there any requirements for the regionals? Because I know, like the World Championships, you need certain championship points. As far as I know, there are not any requirements for regionals, but I might be wrong. Can you shed any light on that?
Yes, absolutely. So regionals and North American International Championships, they both do not require any.
So yeah, the World Championships, of course, if you get enough championship points from things like the regionals, you can get an invite to the World Championships based on how many points you have.
That's right, and not just that, but Worlds for North America, the entry cost is 500 championship points. Right now, I am sitting at 125.
Sounds very cool. Now, there was one other thing you were starting to mention earlier about you met somebody who was 44 years old or something. That was another one of your memorable moments you were talking about from Pokemon. Do you want to share some more of that?
Sure. So, one of the great things about that was I was playing against him, and my father started coming in to let me know that he wanted to pick me up, bring me home, and they were talking. Oh, how you doing, doctor?
That's out of nowhere, but yeah.
Or how you doing, doctor?
Such and such. Confidentiality, but yeah.
Right, confidentiality. And it's kind of like, maybe they know each other. You guys know each other? And the doctor looked at me and he said, yeah, I'm your father's cancer doctor.
So people of all walks of life play Pokemon.
So again, doesn't matter how old you are, if you like, again, doesn't matter how old you are, if you love doing it, go and do it.
I mean, if nothing else, the in-game trainers in video games teach you. You can be a waitress, you can be a lawyer, you can be a preschooler. Everyone plays Pokemon.
Well, I mean, hopefully there's no astronaut.
Eventually, I'm sure there will be.
There probably will.
I mean, there's like Clefairy and Deoxys. They come from space, right? So.
That's true. They meet somebody.
Exactly, yeah. So another question I have, getting more into sort of like your personal flavor and personal taste in Pokemon. I've got a question here. Who is your favorite Pokemon of all time?
My favorite Pokemon of all time will have to be Primate. He's a fighter. He fights for what he believes in. Win, lose, or draw, he knows he will become better. Not only does this Pokemon remind me of not just within Pokemon, within my personal life. I went through many hardships to get where I am at today, and knowing that when I look that person in the eye, or if people come to me and say, you can't do it, I looked at them dead in the eye and I tell them, you're wrong, I'm going to do it. And no matter what the consequences are, by the end of the day, either A, I don't meet it, or I learn from it, and I become better.
Do you ever steal anybody's hat? Because Primate did that in the anime.
Didn't he give him that hat at the end?
Well, actually, Ash caught it.
But then he fought like a Hitmonlee and a Hitmonchan later on in the episode, didn't he?
Yeah, well, in a different episode, he fought in like a fighting tournament, and he saw that the trainer with the Hitmonchan was a good trainer, and he actually gave Primate to that trainer.
Right, the P1 championship or something like that. That's the part that why I chose him as my favorite Pokemon. Because again, moving forward with that win, lose, or draw, you drop down. You get back up and you keep moving forward no matter what happens. Never give up and believe in yourself.
Now, so of course, Primate being a fighting type Pokemon, does that mean that fighting type is your favorite type of Pokemon, or do you have a different kind of favorite type, or do you just like not really have a preference, over any of the others?
I have no particular type of preference. It just simply put, it's just why that Pokemon resembles my personal life, or why it meant so much to me. And I'm sure a lot of people have some Pokemon that why they chose to be their favorite Pokemon. Again, it's an individual preference, but that he is definitely my favorite.
Like me with Squirtle, I like turtles.
Well,
Simply put. So, a few more questions here if you're interested in these. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. One of the questions that you suggest we speak about is, how do you prepare for a tournament?
How I prepare for a tournament, simply put, I use actually 3 things. So 1, I use the PTCGO software online. 2, I actually communicate with friends in my community and I go and battle with them. And number 3, I look at my online sources. So I use, in this example, 60cards.net, and I use another one called pokebeach.com. So those are 2 highly advanced sources, and people from all over the world, including world's players, use those websites to critique and better their decks for self-improvement.
Sounds good. Now, for anyone that's wanting to get into the competitive side of Pokemon TCG and maybe they're having a hard time breaking into it, do you have any recommendations for which card or cards are most essential for a very top-level competitive deck?
Yes, there's quite a few actually. Just a few to add. One would have to be Shaman, of course. He's been all around.
Shaman EX.
EX, that's right. He's been all around since Roaring Skies expansion. Another good one would be Hoopa EX. He's the one that's going to bring up to 3 Pokemon EX cards, Shaman being one of them. And if you want to play Mega Evolution cards, that would be a great source for that too, because when you go through your deck, it says EX cards, any 3. It doesn't specifically say what it is, except for Hoopa EX itself. So you can't bring another Hoopa EX. You have to use any 3X cards from your deck.
So you can get like the basic, say like basic Camerupt EX and then Mega Camerupt EX, something like that.
That's right. For budget players, if they don't have enough funds to pay for a Shaman EX card, another one would be Octillery with the Abyssal Hand ability.
My boy.
Yeah, boy. So simply put, it draws up to 5 cards. And we also had another one from Sun and Moon called Oranguru, which is Instruct ability, which is drawing up to 3 cards. The fact is, if any of those 2 Pokemon were knocked out, it's only 1 prize card, and it's not 2 prize cards. So that's something to keep in mind.
So what you're saying is draw support is a very important thing in a competitive deck, correct?
Yes, it is. One big word, consistency. If your deck is not consistent, then chances of you winning the game are slim to none.
So bear in mind, of course, most of the videos you see of my channel for my own custom decks, consistency, forget that. I have fun, but this guy's talking competitive. If you want to win your matches and you're out there for the points, for the glory, these are some good tips to take away from this video.
And some other cards to throw out there we'll get now into trainer cards and stuff like that. So for grass decks, Forest Giant Plans, you can evolve this from basic to stage 2 on turn 1. For example, Vileplume can go on turn 1. You can also do, I think it was Lurantis into, is that the stage?
Fomantis into Lurantis GX.
That's right, Lurantis GX, but that's a stage 1 Pokemon, but that tells you there. We're getting new SM2 cards, which is Phantom and Trevenant. So you can go from Phantom to Trevenant Break in turn 1.
You might also be thinking perhaps Rowlet to Dartrix to Decidueye GX.
Rowlet to Decidueye turn 1. Again, basic to stage 2. And you have your Feather Arrow ability, which does 20 damage to any one of your opponent's Pokemon on the field. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I love combining the 2 Decidueye GX with a Gengar with Creepshow. Put 2 damage and 2 damage, and then Creepshow knocks anything out with 3 or more.
Ouch. Yeah.
It's fun stuff.
Another thing, too, to look at is max elixirs. So the top 6 cards of your deck, you have basic energy. You can apply them to any one of your Pokemon on the field.
On the bench.
The bench, okay.
Only basic Pokemon on your bench, however.
Right. And then we have the SM2 card, which is Aqua Patch. That's for water Pokemon benched. And then we have our old Black and White series, Dark Patch, which is all your dark Pokemon that's on the field. That's some things that are what we call consistent.
And energy acceleration is what you're talking about there. Because normally, of course, you can only play 1 energy per turn, but anything that allows you to attach extra energy every turn is good. Mega Turbo.
That's right, Mega Turbo for Mega cards. Mega Rayquaza. You have Mega Mewtwo EX. You have, trying to think of that Mega Gardevoir EX. Those are 3 Mega, very popular Mega cards right now that's going on. There are 2 other trade cards not many people talk about, or I haven't seen play in this course here, tournaments or looking up online. One would be Archie's Ace in the Hole. So as long as your top card, or your last card in your hand, and you have your Water Power Pokemon discarded in your discard pile, Archie's Blastoise. Jacob Van Wagner from Worlds had played it and won.
Was that just last year or the year before?
I suspect it was the year before, but he brought out Blastoise and then he drawed 5 new cards. so he was able to play more cards.
And what's really cool with that is it just has a water Pokemon for the discard pile. It doesn't need to be basic. Like, some people are using the counterpart, Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick, to bring Primal Groudon into play without Mega Evolving, not losing the turn. You're getting a Primal on the bench.
I'm going to call it the brother card, because they're both the same thing, except for one's for water, one's for fighting.
Oh, they're enemies. They're not brothers, man.
No, fortunately.
Exactly.
And again, a very popular card that goes with Max's Hidden Ball Trick would be Archeops. Stops all evolutions across the field. So some trouble players, again, Rowlet to Decidueye, from Oddish to Vileplume, Formantis to Lurantis.
So a lot of good options for all the different evolutions, but of course Archeops, I forget the name of the ability, but it does prevent, is it both players or just the opponent?
Both players.
Prevents both players from playing evolution cards from hand to evolve. There's a few ways around it, like Evo Soda, Wally could be a thing, but you can't use your regular evolution phase of from hand. I'm going to pop that guy into a bigger form. Archeops prevents that. So I was going to ask you one last thing here, I believe. I didn't actually write this down, this kind of came to me as I was thinking about it, but do you have any players that you follow and watch that have inspired you for your own deck? Because as I said, we're not going to let you know what his deck is. He's going to keep it a surprise because I want any opponents to know what he's going to be planning for. But, so without giving away anything that you might have in your deck, are there any players out there that you follow and have gained inspiration from as far as designing your own deck?
I don't know so much about inspiration. Inspiration did play a huge role. I don't think any kind of particular player that's what got me started. I think it's more of when I was a kid growing up and taking a 11 to 12 year leave from the game and going from 13 years old now to 29 years old. That was like a 10 plus year gap for me to come back into the game. Just all in all, I think overall was more of what happens if I came back into Pokemon again?
And I think this shows the community is you were welcomed back immediately. It's like, you can leave if you want, you can come back. It's alright, as long as it's what you want to do. We're here for you, for anyone that wants to play Pokemon.
But I was kind of not... Scared's not the word, but it was more of age. Because I'm coming back as a grown man now, and coming back into it, when I first walked into, of course, Heroes Beacon, I found that the majority of the players were kids, and there was one or two adults. One particular person actually... No, it was actually a person that tried to welcome me back, but I had second thoughts about it at the start. But he sold me his cards, and then later on he got back into it. So
did you want to buy them back at that point?
The majority of them, yeah, he did.
Was it no dice, no deal?
No dice or no deal.
I get you.
Yeah.
So I think that pretty much covers all the questions that I had for you. This gave some nice insight into Johnny here, and one of our, of course, regional attendees coming up next weekend. Is it the 13th, I think it is, that it actually kicks off?
So it kicks off on the 13th. Deck check list, or deck check... I can't even say that now.
Deck checklist?
Check-ins, that's it.
There we go.
Check-ins, it starts off at, I think it was 8:30. I had to look at the form again. It was 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning. And I'm suspecting it's supposed to be 9 matches. That's going to be the most matches I'm going to play in one day. Hopefully I don't get suckered out.
What you're looking at regionals is even more, and that's just day one, isn't it?
That's day one.
This goes into day 2.
Right, and day 2 moving forward with that is the top 8 players. The top, the finalists. And they're going to be the ones that, any player that you play against, you really got to watch out for. Because I'm sure when you come across some of these players, not only are they really skilled with the game, they know their deck inside and out. So you really got to know what you got to look out for. There's a lot of critiquing involved, and of course reading. Keep reading. If you have a subscription to PokeBeach.com or 60cards.net, very, very important to get your hands on a subscription, because there are premium articles that are they're paywalled, which means you have to have a subscription to read the rest of the material. And that's kind of where I got majority of my listing on critiquing my deck and making it better, was going through the premium article subscriptions. Well worth it.
Sounds very cool. Well, I guess that's about it for the interview today. I want to say thanks, Johnny, for joining me here.
Thank you for having me.
And anything else you want to say to the players out there?
All I can say is never give up, believe in yourself, be humble, be respectful, and show that you can be that person, not only for yourself, but inspire others to do well.
Exactly. That's something that I like to always say too. It's like, there's all the thing about being a sore loser, but you can be a sore winner as well. If you win a match, don't hold it over someone, don't gloat. Encourage them, give them ideas how they can become better, because by bettering the opponent, you then have to better yourself. Everybody mutually benefits.
And win, lose, or draw, you are a winner.
By having fun, you win.
That's right.
So thanks for joining me here, Johnny.
Thank you very much.
And good luck.
To be on the show, and looking forward to any future episode that you have on your channel.
Sounds good. And
and one more thing. Just wait a minute. Like, I'm not trying to pull a Columbo, a TV show, but if you haven't taken a look at Chaz's prior videos, online live matches, episode number 17, comment is listed below. Also, if you want to look into applying for your position in Toronto Regionals, go to www.torontopokemonregionals.com and have a subscription. And if you're able to see me there, say hi, say that I watched your video or whatever, then I'll be like, right on, we got some supporters.
And if they haven't, send them to my channel.
Yeah, that's right, send it to his channel.
Well, again, thanks for joining me, and good luck in regionals. I hope you come back a winner, but if not, well, you're going to coming back a winner anyway, because you're learning and having fun.
That's right. That's all that matters. Spirit of the game.
All right,
HB.
There we go. And that's going to be it, everybody. Thanks for watching today's video. If you want to see some more videos, of course, on the channel, there's going to be some links during the outro to some videos, and link to subscribe to the channel as well. I'll probably see if I can do some coverage of the regionals. I won't be there myself in person, but I can see if I can watch like streams or something and do some recaps. But with that, we are now done. Professor Chaz is signing off with
Johnny, and if you have a chance during the event, go to TorontoPokemonRegionals.com, go to live streaming, and watch. Myself or another person, part of our team, may be on there on your screen, living room screen.
Sounded very cool. Do you want to do the outro together?
Yes.
And we're signing off, and we will catch you next time.